Hello everyone, welcome to Cellopedia, this is Maxim. I made this video for all the beginners who would love to play cello, but confused about finding all the notes on the fingerboard. I will try to give you as much help as I can using professional cello as I have now, and a student cello with tapes like this one. On top of that, I will share with you my thoughts about advantages and disadvantages of using tapes when you just start playing cello. Let's tune and start learning. Before we start identifying notes, it's essential to understand the cello fingerboard layout. The cello fingerboard is made of ebony, very special, strong kind of wood. And we will have to press on it with fingers to create different notes. Unlike fretted instruments like the guitar, the cello fingerboard doesn't have marked positions for each note. This can be challenging at first, but with practice and few helpful tips, you will be able to find each note easily. Let's learn how to find each note using finger positions and the tapes. As a beginner, using tapes on the fingerboard can be incredibly helpful. These tapes indicate where to place your fingers to play specific notes. You can use colored or transparent tapes depending on your preference. Eventually, you will develop muscle memory and the tapes can be removed. Let's learn the first position, which is the most common position to learn for beginners. In this position, your hand is closest to the nut of the cello, and all of your fingers will be placed on or above tapes. Before we continue, we need to mention that cello has 4 strings. They are different. The thinnest string is A, followed by D, G, and the thickest and lowest string is C. Here are all the notes you can play in the first position on the A string. One finger, you touch the first tape, will make it to sound as B. Two fingers, with the second finger touching the second tape, will make C. Three fingers, with the third finger placed right on the third tape, will make it to sound as C sharp, which sometimes also called as D flat. And when you use all 4 fingers with the pinky placed right on the fourth tape, you will get D. Let's see how it works when I play all the notes one after another. And this how it will work if you use the cello without tapes. Now let's explore the D string. The first finger will make E. The second finger, F. The third finger, F sharp, which could also be notated as G flat. And the fourth finger will help us to play G. Here are those 4 notes one after another. And now without tapes. By the way, did you hear the difference in sound between those two cellos? I'm really curious what you think about it. Share your thoughts in comments for this video and we might have a very interesting discussion. Just 2 strings left to explore. On the G string, the first finger will make an A. The second finger will help us to play B flat, which also could be presented as A sharp. The third finger will make B. And the fourth finger will make C. Here are all of those notes one after another. And the last string to learn is the C string. The first finger will make D. The second finger, E flat, which can also be presented as D sharp. The third finger, E. And the fourth finger, F. Now all 4 notes one after another. Let's see if I can find all those notes without tapes. Sometimes in the future, as you progress, you will learn other positions, such as the second, third, and fourth. Those positions will allow you to play higher notes on the fingerboard. The same finger patterns will apply, but the notes will change depending on the string and the position. The lower you move your fingers on the fingerboard, the higher notes you will get. Here are a few examples of the notes you can play using higher positions. So many notes. If it sounds overwhelming, no worries. All beginners feel the same way. You just need to make sure that you practice enough staying in the first position. And then you will start making those movements to the higher positions, which we call shifts. And you'll do it little by little, one position at a time. And soon enough, you will be confident playing many higher notes on cello. I would like to offer you a few tricks to make sure that it is easier to learn how to play in the first position. But before I do it, I would like to thank all Patreon supporters of Cellopedia. You give me a lot of help so I can spend extra time making these videos for you. Maybe you will be able to join them. I'll put a link in the description and you might check out for more information about Patreon and special perks I give to my supporters. I post printed music to study with my extra fingerings and bowings and many useful videos like cello duets to play alone. All of those extra materials will definitely help you to learn faster and enjoy playing cello. One of the first advices you usually hear when you just start playing cello is to use a tuner. Definitely playing with tuner might help you somewhat, but it's often very confusing. The nature of string instrument sound is such that tuner doesn't respond in a particularly reliable way. Even if you play the note in tune, the arrow on a tuner will not stay still, and it will never tell you that here you go, you play in tune. And also you might see the green light from the tuner, but it will not actually sound as precise as it should be. My advice to you would be only use a tuner in case of emergency. Only when you feel you are absolutely lost and cannot figure out if you play the correct note or not. Usually, a pinky is the finger which gives us most of trouble. And luckily, 3 of the notes on A, D and G strings, you can check the neighboring open string. That will work this way. The 4th finger on the A string should make D, and if you check it against the next string, which is another D, you should get an octave. And this interval is very clear to hear. You will have no problem spotting if it is in tune or not. And if your pinky is slightly off, you will get a sound like this. And if you play 2 strings together, that will be even more obvious. And you should make sure that it will sound like this. The same applies to G, the 4th finger on the D string. And C, the 4th finger on the G string. It is extremely helpful to work on scales. Yes, those boring exercises which have no melody, just one note after another. Why it is so helpful? For one simple reason. When you play scales, you don't have to worry about bowings or extra challenges with rhythm or unexpected jumps in melody. You master the same pattern, and that will allow you to feel that you make fast improvement. I would suggest you to start with a 1 octave G major scale, and it will work like this. And you can also add one octave C major scale. And when you are ready to explore C string, you can play C major scale starting from the open C and play it in 2 octaves, making it much longer. And each of those scales you can play back and forth. That means once you reach the highest note, you can go back in reverse direction. Another very important part of your cello studies is when you spend your time listening to recordings. The most useful for you might be listening to recordings of cello music of easy level. This way you will hear those recordings which are usually done in fairly slow tempo, and you will get used to listening to each note and also observing how a cellist does it. This way you will make a connection between the sound of the note and what you see that person is doing. I made hundreds of videos like this, from easy etudes to Suzuki cello books to scales, and that will definitely help you to improve your ear training and develop the sense of music to become a better musician. As we discussed earlier, using tapes on cello fingerboard can be a great tool for beginners, but it's important to understand the advantages and disadvantages of using them. First, let's explore the advantages of using tapes. Improved intonation. Tapes provide a visual aid, helping beginners to play notes more accurately and develop their intonation skills. Confidence boost. As a beginner, it can be challenging to find the correct finger placement on the unmarked fingerboard. Tapes can boost your confidence by guiding you to the right spot and making it easier to play. Faster learning. With help of tapes, beginners can learn the fingerboard more quickly, as they can focus on playing the right notes without constantly worrying about finger placement. Now, let's discuss the disadvantages of using tapes. Dependency. One of the main drawbacks of using tapes is that beginners can become too reliant on them, making it difficult to transition to playing without visual aids. Limited ear training. While tapes help improve intonation, they can also hinder the development of your listening skills, as you may focus more on the visual cues rather than sound you are producing. Inaccurate placement. If tapes are not placed accurately, they can cause more harm than good by leading to incorrect finger placement and poor intonation. And one of the most important disadvantages of using tapes is bad posture, which you can develop by constantly looking at tapes. When you need to look at tapes, you would usually move the cello away, or you would twist your neck like this. And this posture will cause not only pain in your neck later on, but it will also add extra problems with your sound making technique. Because when you move a cello away from yourself, you will have a different angle between the bow and the string, and it has to be corrected in quite awkward way. After considering of everything I already mentioned, it's very important for you to make a right choice. You might want to start with tapes to make it a bit quicker and more enjoyable the process of learning your notes. But try to make sure that you are not using those tapes even one day longer than you need. Even after a few weeks of practicing, start developing a habit of not looking at those tapes. And maybe just a few weeks later, you might want to start removing those tapes. It might make you feel uncomfortable. You might notice that you start making more mistakes. But I believe it's much better to remove those tapes a bit too soon, rather to stay with them too late. Remember, cello practicing, it's all about taking some risk. You try something new, you might fail at the first few attempts, and then that wonderful moment when you get it right will boost your confidence, and your skill will improve, and you will be proud of your achievements, and that will help you to move on and on in the process of learning how to play the most wonderful instrument in the world, cello. If you made it that far, I would dare to suggest that you might be enjoying one of my courses which I posted on Udemy. There is free preview for each of those courses, and if you like one of them, make sure you use the link I provide in the description to get a special Cellopedia discount. As always, thank you for watching. I hope you learned something new today, and I will see you again soon.